Greetings viewers, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to get onto this 2003 Forester I picked up in the previous video. So far what we know is that the timing is off. We don't know if it is actually jump timing. We don't know if any valves are bent. We don't know if there's any internal damage to the engine. Looking at the engine, we do know the starter's been replaced. There's an aftermarket starter on the vehicle. The AC condenser is missing. It's been in a front-end collision. I'm seeing some evidence now that it's daylight and I can get a good look at it. And it has been in some kind of front-end collision. So to get the air conditioning work, we're going to sell the condenser and AC lines off of the silver 2005 Forester. The timing cover, as I said, is tore up. The tensioner has come unbolted from the looks of it and cocked sideways out into the tensioner. That doesn't necessarily mean that the timing jumped or that the timing is off, but it very well could be. We very well could have a lot of bent valves and need to replace both cylinder heads. So we have two ways to go about this. We can go about it the very quick and easy way of pulling spark plugs, running my Borescope down into the cylinders and looking for bent valves, looking for valves where they have kissed the piston heads. Or we can do it the fun surprise way and go through, disassemble everything, assess the damage, retime the engine, put it back in time, and try to start it and see if it runs. And if it does run, then we'll go back and do a cylinder leakage test to test for any bent valves that may be just slightly bent, and allow the engine to run but still have a poor power level, compression level, etc. So I believe what I'm going to do is go ahead and start disassembling the front end of this Forester, see how bad the carnage is, and then try to go ahead and retime it and see if it'll start. Let's go ahead, start tearing into it, and get at it. All right, guys, check out the horror show we got going on here. So, looks like this tensioner, don't know how old it is, but this was a Gates kit, is failed. It's leaking really badly around the piston here. We've got aluminum in the threads on the tensioner. So as you saw, I just pulled it out of there. It was not even bolted in. It backed out enough where it jumped sideways and most likely we'll just replace the tensioner bracket instead of having to tap and helicoil that and fix the threads there, because they're going to be destroyed. Figured out what all the pixie dust was about. It was where the inside of the crank pulley harmonic balancer was rubbing into the tensioner and the AC tensioner pulley, and thoroughly destroyed it. Everything in here is covered in metal shavings and metal powder. Alternator has metal shavings all over it because of the magnetism of the alternator and the coil. I was wondering where all this stuff was coming from, and that's what it is. So tons of mess to clean up in here. Timing doesn't look too far off. I'm going to try to, like I said, time it up and throw the belt on there and see if it'll run. It's not looking great at this point in time. Oh man, here's the timing cover full of glitter and junk, and here's our hole rub between the AC tensioner and the timing belt tensioner, and lots of pixie dust and junk inside here. Timing belt got eat up pretty good. This is where the Gates lettering is. You can barely see it, but the lettering is deformed and stretched. We've got some fraying here. This is pretty bad. The backside is delaminated. Looks like there's a big groove peeled off the center of this belt. There's some chunks missing here and there. So belt's no good either. The whole kit's basically throw away because it's all the Chinese junk Gates stuff. But like I said, we're gonna go ahead and try to time it up. I'm gonna replace everything in here with the good new Gates kit in there just to see if it'll run. It's not something I would put on a vehicle long term. So first off, I'm gonna go ahead and try to clean off as much of this junk in here as I can with some of my favorite libation, some brake parts cleaner. Just get it a little bit cleaner, nicer to work on in here. And we'll come back when I'm getting it all back together, I guess. All right guys, so as I figured, the tensioner bracket is completely watered out, stripped out, even stripped out the threads for the timing cover. So good thing with these are you don't have to worry about fixing them. You can just unbolt it. It's 3 12mm headed bolts and toss it for a new one. So you don't have to worry about time inserts and fixing busted up threads. You just bolt this new timing belt tensioner bracket on there. So we're gonna go ahead and bolt that on, and then like I said, I'm gonna go bolt all the new components on, set the timing. We'll come back, pull the pin, and see if it'll fire up. All right guys, timing belt's on. Took a lot longer than I thought it was going to. Ran into another difficulty. The lower idler, he stripped out the threads out of the block, did not have that in right, so I had to rig that up with a longer bolt to catch some threads and a washer just so we could see getting it, to start. But bad news already, it's not going to start. It has no compression. Spinning it over, there's no resistance, so I'm gonna try to start it. It's not gonna start, and we're gonna have to put heads on it. So might go ahead and pull a plug out, run the borescope in there so you can get a shot of that before we close out the video. But right now I'm gonna go ahead and try to start it and see what it sounds like. And there you have it. The sound of no compression, the sound of bent valves. So our Friday the 13th is complete with not getting lucky on this engine and having all bent valves. From here, we're gonna have to go through the car and figure out if it's worth more to fix this car or if it's worth more to fix the Silver 05. Hoping the short block is okay. We won't know that until we put a set of heads on it to see how it runs, but not sure if we're going to keep it in this or put it in the silver car to sell the silver car. So we'll figure that out in a little bit, but probably before we go, I'm probably going to pull a spark plug out, run the borescope in there just so you can see how bad it is in there. So as you see from the pictures, you can see where the valve has kissed the piston. If you look right at this area here, that is the normal valve relief that's cut into each of the pistons. If you look right here, beside that, you can see where the valve forcefully hit the piston, or the piston forcefully hit the valve, took a little divot out of the piston and bent the valve. All right, so from the pictures you just saw, got bent valves. Knew that as soon as I turned the key. Actually knew that as soon as I turned the engine over. There was no compression. It just spun over a freewheel. So from here, we're gonna take the cylinder heads off, see how bad they are. Probably can get them rebuilt with a new set of valves. From there, I'll grab an extra set of EJ heads that I have ready to go. We'll bolt them on the engine with new head gaskets, go through all the gaskets we can. Probably gonna do this job in vehicle. I hate doing head gaskets in vehicle, but since I'm not at a shop right now, I'm in between. Hopefully in the next 6-7 months, before the end of the year, I'll have my new shop built and we won't have to worry about this anymore. But probably gonna do this job, like I said, in car, just for the convenience to me and not have it out in the open, since I don't have any room really to work on engines in my small building I house my toolboxes in. Hopefully I can get that cleaned out and start building engines at least in there in the meantime. But for now, we don't have that option. So like I said, gonna do the heads in car most likely. From there, we'll see what else needs to be addressed, whether it's got a bad clutch or anything else going on with it. We won't have any money in what we've done. We don't have any more money than the $500 original investment in this car so far. With the head install, we will have money in the gaskets and all. But other than that, it won't be more than probably 250 bucks or so. If I get a full engine kit, I may just get a set of valve cover gaskets or rocket cover cam cover gaskets, head gaskets, and intake and exhaust manifold gaskets. I think that Subaru Parts Direct, or Subaru Parts Online sells that kit on Amazon, or sells it as a kit on Amazon for about I think 60-70 bucks, maybe a little low, maybe a little high. Last I bought, when I did the LL Bean Forester engine, I didn't buy a full master reseal engine gasket kit. Those are about $300. I pieced it together from Amazon and SubaruParts.com with individual piece by piece, and came out a little bit cheaper that way for what I needed. So again, this is going to be a longer project to coincide with the cross track. Hopefully we'll get at least 2 videos, maybe 3 out of this. Not sure how long we'll go. Like I said, if it turns out this car is not in as good a shape as the silver car, we'll put this whole engine in the silver car and sell the silver car. No need to worry about that now. We got to get this engine running, get the heads on it. We'll cross those bridges as we come to them. But again, I think we'll get a couple videos out of this, and hopefully you find it informative and useful to you, seeing the dangers that can happen with, 1, not replacing your timing belt on time and having it break on you, and 2, taking it to someone or doing it yourself if you don't feel comfortable doing it. This is what can happen if you don't do it correctly. This guy put his own timing belt and water pump kit in here, and his tensioner fell out, and he stripped out the lower pulley and bent every valve in the head just about. Fun little thing we're gonna do, I just thought of. In the comment section below, since it's the end of the video, to see how many of you are actually watching my videos all the way through. On this video, we're going to take a little poll. I might make a contest out of it. I'm not sure yet. Comment below in the comment section how many valves you think are bent in this engine, whether it be 3, 4, or all 16. Pick your guess, put it in the comments below. Like I said, I might make a contest out of it, and however many people guess the right number, raffle out of them for, I don't know, a ratchet or some kind of tool or some Subaru gear, something like that. We'll figure it out. But yeah, place your bets now on how many valves are bent. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.